Hello everyone, this is Stephanie, your CSA coach, and it is week 24B of our 2025 CSA season, which means it is the final week. If you're a B share, this is your last pickup. If you're a full share, this is your last pickup either today or Thursday. Also, early bird registration has been open. So make sure if you want the best deal for your CSA share for next season, that you sign up by Thursday. I believe it closes at some point on Thursday. I want to say it's by the end of pickup, so 7 p.m. All the links are in our emails that we received yesterday. Just follow along for that. And at pickup both today and Thursday, if you haven't already paid, Trisha has a table. You can stop by and pay and pick up your early bird gifts. So make sure you do that soon. Jumping right into this week's share, we either have kale or Swiss chard. Both are stored in the fridge in a Debbie Meyer green bag. Once you're ready to use it, rinse it off. Both get removed from the stems generally. Swiss chard, I know I have pickled Swiss chard stems. You can do a basic sauteed greens for either of them. Kale, we've been eating a lot of raw kale. I just do massaged kale salad. That's been really good with just whatever else I have laying around. Or just massaged kale as a side with a light dressing on it. But you can saute it. You can make kale chips. There's a kale Caesar salad on the website. I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff, but you can eat it raw or you can cook it. You can chop it up. You can leave it whole in the leaves. So lots of options there. We've been enjoying it raw this season. The Swiss chard, we do like to saute that. And I love to serve the Swiss chard besides eggs. I feel like it goes really well with eggs, but it can just be a side green for any meal as well. We have carrots. Very first thing that you want to do is chop off the greens, store them in a Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge separately from your bottoms. The bottoms get stored in a Ziploc bag or a Debbie Meyer green bag in the crisper drawer. The bottoms can be eaten raw. There's a carrot ribbon salad. There's, I believe it's either a roasted or grilled carrot recipe on the website. And then my favorite thing to do with the carrot tops, to not throw them out, is a carrot top chimichurri, and that's on the website. If you're not going to use the tops, rinse them off, dry them, and throw them in your freezer bag for broth later. A lot of our scraps, I don't like throwing anything out. So a lot of our scraps, if I know we're not going to use it, or the greens, I know I have a busy week and they're not going to get used, I will throw all of that into my freezer bag. And then when that freezer bag gets filled, I make a nice veggie broth. So options there. The carrots are delicious and they don't taste like anything you receive at the grocery store. So enjoy them. That's a nice treat for our end of season share. We have beets. On the email, it said golden beets. They are actually red beets this week. Very first thing you're gonna do is chop off the greens, store them separately in a Debbie Meyer green bag. They can be sauteed, they can be eaten raw, but they are most often sauteed just with like any of our other greens. You can do a quick blanch and actually make green cubes out of them. That's a good addition to smoothies, especially over the winter time to get our greens in. So that's an option. Bottoms, you're gonna store them in either a Ziploc bag or a Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge. You can eat them raw. They can be shredded and added to salads. They can be sliced thin and added to salads. Our favorite way to eat them is to pickle them. It actually preserves them also, and there's two different pickling recipes on the website for you. You can also roast them. So options there. We have turnips. Same thing. Remove the greens, store them separately. You can saute them, you can eat them raw, you can throw them in your freezer bag for veggie broth later. Bottoms, store them separately in the fridge. They can be shredded, they can be thinly sliced and eaten raw. You could actually do like a slaw this week, which would be really good. You have a lot of, like the kohlrabi acts as your cabbage and your carrots and your beets and your turnips. You could just shred them all and put them in a bowl and do a light dressing, and that would make a great slaw. Turnips are great roasted. So if you tried the roasted root medley from last week, it's delicious. It makes a bunch, so we used it over the week. I tested it, and then we made a big batch, and I used it over the weekend, and then left a bunch with my oldest son who's in college. So I'm probably gonna make another big batch of that for us. So those are our turnips. We have kohlrabi. Kohlrabi is stored just like this in the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, you're going to peel it, and then you can do a bunch of different things with it. It can be eaten raw, it can be shredded. There's, like I said, you could add it to a slaw. There's a kohlrabi, I think I called it a kohlrabi carpaccio, so really thinly sliced kohlrabi dressed with some fun toppings. I'm pretty sure I'm going to, this is going to be, this with the carrots and a couple other vegetables are going to be in this week's recipe, so stay tuned for that on Thursday. This can also be roasted, can be added to a stir fry. So can be eaten raw or can be cooked. We have onions. Onions are stored in a cool, dry place. Once you're ready to use them, peel off those outer layerings, chop them up. They can be thinly sliced and added to salads. They can be used with our pickled beets. You can do a roasted sheet pan meal. We use onions a lot, so we go through a lot of onions and garlic. Speaking of, we have a clove of garlic. This was a surprise edition. It wasn't on this week's email from yesterday, so that's fun. As you guys know, I love garlic and usually add more than a recipe calls for. You can roast the garlic. You can add it to salad dressings, which is what I love to do, roasted sheet pans. You could actually add fresh garlic to the roasted root medley from last week. I saved my garlic for another use, so I didn't use it for that. But it's just a great seasoning to use for just about anything. Purple sweet potatoes, stored in a cool, dry place. These were part of the roasted root medley from last week, so there's that recipe. You can just simply boil them and do a mash. You can do just roasted sweet potatoes. You can shred them and do more of like a breakfast potato, but tons of different options. You can actually bake them too. Timeline, I don't know. It depends on the size of the potatoes, but they're fun because they're purple, so it adds a different color to any dish that you use them from. We are actually having brisket tonight, and I'm serving it over mashed purple potatoes combined with some of, our regular potatoes. So I'm just going to mash those together. It'll probably give me a lighter purple coloring, and then we're gonna serve that with brisket, so that's an option too. We have regular potatoes. So regular potatoes are stored in a cool, dry place. You want your potatoes stored separately from your onions and your garlic. So I have two different bins. My onions and garlic are in one in a cool, dry place in a cabinet, and my potatoes are in another. Potatoes can be roasted. They can be grilled. You could do the grill packets with these seasonal vegetables. You can shred them. You can do, there's a potato crusted quiche, I believe, on the website. That's from a while ago, but that's really good. So lots of different recipes that you can do potatoes with. Two more. We have butternut squash. Butternut squash is stored in a cool, dry place. It's often sliced in half, pull out those seeds, drizzle a little bit oil and some seasonings on, and roast it in the oven. That's how it's most often cooked, but you can chop it up, which is what we did last week with the roasted root medley. Chopped it into cubes and added it to that whole veggie grouping. You can grill it. You can slice it into rounds and grill it. You can boil it, and it's amazing for butternut squash soup. Last but not least, we have purple or white cauliflower. It's about a mix depending on what you got in your share. This is obviously purple. Last week we received purple broccoli, so do not confuse it. This is cauliflower. So if you still have your broccoli from last week, which we don't, we ate it immediately. But basically stored the same way. So you're going to store it in a Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Once you're ready to use it, fill your sink with water or bowl with salt water. Swish it around, let it soak for a little while to make sure that everything, all the dirt and everything comes out of it. And then you can do a couple different things. You can steam it. Well, you can serve it raw. You can steam it. You can blanch it. You can roast it. The roasting of cauliflower gives it a little bit of a different flavor. We really like roasting it. You can also throw it in your food processor and rice it. And use it as a base instead of rice. So that's an option also. That is it for this week. That is our last share of the season. If you have any questions, please make sure that you're posting on our Facebook group. We will continue to remain active and answer questions for anyone needing it. A big shout out and thank you to our farmers and all of our workers at Blooming Glen Farm. And looking forward to seeing you guys all again next season. So make sure you sign up this week for the early bird specials.